Hi everyone, welcome to the webinar. My name is Sylwia and this is my colleague Giulietta.
Hello.
Today we are going to show you how to kickstart your energy, health, weight loss without dieting, perhaps ever again. So now I'm guessing for most of you this is probably not your first time. You hear about healthy eating and lifestyle, and lots of you probably tried many different diets, detoxes, cleanses, trendy eating, and so on. I'm not going to even ask how did it go for you, because as we know, most diets work for about 5 minutes, and you are back to square one or worse. Is that right?
Yep.
Exactly. So the internet is a blessing, and it gives us an instant access to many resources and knowledge. However, the dark side of it is that the fact that the amount of information about health, well-being is just so overwhelming, and I think so confusing. So most of us, you can find 100 of strategies for everything, and who knows what really works. So today we will ask you to forget what you know and let's strip it all to the basic facts we know about foods and what we need to do to have the abundance of energy, optimal health, and happy body. So we assume that if you're here, that means you are ready to make a change and improve your health and well-being. And we are going to show you how you can start to make it happen during this webinar. So before we start, if it's okay, we take a few minutes to introduce ourselves. So Giulietta, would you like to go ahead?
Yes, thank you, Sylwia. So I'm Giulietta Durante, nutritional therapist and health coach. I have been working in the wellness industry for over 10 years and seeing patients one-to-one for about 6 years. The reason I got into nutrition was because I was diagnosed with fibroids myself, and I just wasn't happy with the options I was given by the doctor. So it was either take the pill or take other medication. And I thought there must be a way that I can deal with this by changing my nutrition, my lifestyle, etc. And I did. And, I'm sort of like symptom free. It's hard work because I always have to keep my nutrition good and my lifestyle, healthy. But it really is such a powerful, powerful tool. And that's basically what led me later on to start working with women primarily to really help them feel at home in their bodies again, help them understand their hormones, and just feel good again. So yeah, that's me.
Oh, great. Yeah, my name is Sylwia Razak, and I'm a registered nutritional therapist and health coach like Giulietta. I've graduated from College of Naturopathic Medicine in London, and I'm in practice for about 6 years. And I'm passionate about supporting women. I specialize in female health, digestion, skin, energy, and weight management. And my journey to becoming a nutritional therapist started when I had a big crash in my mid-20s, just after I graduated from university, working in my dream job in New York City. And I was so stressed under tremendous pressure. Lived on a very sad diet, how I call it, the standard American diet, and in general, working and perhaps partying too hard. So I pushed my body to limits for way too long, and I ended up with IBS, deliberating pain, lack of energy, horrendous skin problems, and in general, poor health. So it came to the point that I had no energy to get up from my bed due to the fatigue, and made normal daily routine possible. So not getting much help from doctors, I turned into natural medicine. I went to see a nutritional therapist, and things started to get much better. In 3 months, my IBS symptoms were reduced to 90%. And in 6 months, I felt great again. So through this process, I really realized how nutrition is powerful, like similar to Giulietta, how it affects how you feel, how you look, how you even think, and really affects the quality of life. So nutritional self-care have brought me back to really new me. I felt absolutely changed in 6 months. So I've decided to go and empower women and help them take control of their health as well and their bodies. So I know it's possible within reach to everyone with the right support. So that's why I'm here today. Yeah, so our goals for this webinar is introduction to blood sugar balancing, understanding why balancing your blood sugar level is the only way, in our view, for health, energy, weight loss, and weight maintenance. So we will learn how to implement the very basic rules, and we can promise you that if you follow those rules, you will never have to worry about dieting again. And we will explain and tell you, show you how a balanced plate should really look like. And then at the end, we will set a clear and achievable goals. So hopefully you will leave this webinar with a clear set of goals to set you to a new way of eating and feeling healthier and much more energetic.
So now we're just going to have a little look at why dieting doesn't work long term. And what we've done is we've broken down a few of the most popular weight loss approaches that there've been in the last 20, 30 years, and just talk about why they don't work long term. So for example, if we go look at the first one, so we've got the low calorie, or nowadays is more intermittent fasting. In the 80s, 90s, it was more calorie counting. So what happens is, well, we saw in the 80s and 90s, people's calorie intake was decreasing, but actually obesity continued to increase. So, you know, what was going on there? The problem as well with these kind of approaches is that we lose a lot of lean tissue. And as you gain weight again later on, it goes on as fat. And that is really, really hard to shift because fat is just harder to break down. Also, and this is important, especially for women, it imbalances hormones and the body perceives this as a threat. And actually what happens is the body increases the hormones that encourage weight gain in the long term. So really not a good idea. And especially for women, our hormones are sort of wired in such a way that this is actually quite a sort of like dangerous state to be in. Then we have the low fat craze, not as popular anymore, but very popular again, 80s, early 90s. So, I mean, 80% of our brain is fat. Every cell membrane is made of fat. They are essential for life, as I say there. And the problem is that you crave them. Fats make you feel full. You know, they make you feel quite happy. They've got some nice, they bring out the taste of other foods. So what happens? You crave them and you end up giving in, and then you feel terrible about yourself. Then on the opposite side of the spectrum, we have the high fat diet, and this one is called the ketogenic diet. Again, this is becoming more and more popular in the last kind of maybe 5 years or so. The ketogenic is super, super high fat. It's hard to stick to because you have to be counting all the time your protein, carbs, and fats. And if you come out of that, you will basically come out of what we call ketosis, and then, you know, it's pointless. So it's really, really hard to stick to. On top of that, not everyone is suited to a high fat diet. Some of us don't absorb fats as well as others. Some of us don't metabolize them as well as others. So super high fat just doesn't work. And another important thing as well is actually that the intake of vegetables is very low on a ketogenic diet. And that is not good news. I mean, as we go along the presentation, we will both, Sylwia and I, will keep on telling you how important it is to eat a lot of vegetables. So a diet that doesn't encourage vegetable intake is, you know, a bit of a worry, really, long term. And then at the bottom, we've got the high protein. This one sometimes now is a bit of a paleo approach as well. And this is basically low carbs, which quite often can be low fiber as well. And we really, really don't want that. Fiber, especially again for us women, is really important in hormone balancing. And, you know, it's unsustainable, it's boring, and eventually we end up giving in. So really, what we learn from this, it's not just about restricting one element of a diet or one food group, because this only ever leads to cravings. So what we want to do is balance each element and get the best quality of each food group, which will make things easier, healthier, and importantly, more sustainable. So what are we programmed to eat? We like this illustration because it shows us, how things have gone wrong in the last sort of maybe 30, 40 years. So our diet has changed a lot since we were cavemen, but our genetics, our genes are still the same as when we were cavemen. So for example, let's look at this. Protein, has really decreased. Fats have gone up, and usually not the right kind of fat. Carbs have also increased. Fiber has come down drastically. Sugar, look at that, a really, really big increase. And salt has also gone up dramatically. So we're not eating to support our genetics. We are just now eating and grabbing whatever is around us. So this is the most scientific slide, and this is what the basis of everything that we're going to talk about afterwards is sort of centered on. So this is just explaining. So let me just show you with the cursor. So this is the impact of carbohydrates on our blood in our body when we eat them. So when we eat something that has a carbohydrate in it, the sugar gets released and it goes into the blood, and then insulin comes along, a hormone, which is like a key, opens the cell door, and the sugar goes in and gets either used or, importantly, stored as fat. Now, nowadays, because we're just eating, a lot of refined carbohydrates, and we're not moving much and everything else, we're doing a lot of fat storing. And this is happening continuously. So then what happens is you use it up quickly and you have a massive blood sugar dip. And that's maybe when you feel tired, you haven't got, you're in a bad mood, or you're a bit low, or your concentration is terrible. And this is the point where you might think, oh, you know what, I'll have a coffee, or I'll have a croissant, or I'll have a coffee and a croissant. And that will then raise your blood sugar really, really quickly. You will once again use it, either use it quickly and store the rest as fat, and then quickly you will dip again. And this happens throughout the day. So for example, that's sometimes the mid-morning slump. This one is like mid-afternoon, 2:30, 3 after lunch, when you're at the computer and you can barely keep your eyes open. And this happens like this all the day. Now, we really, really want to avoid these massive peaks and troughs. We want to try and stay within these lines here. And really, pretty much everything we're going to talk about now, and Sylwia is going to go into it in a lot more detail, is going to be showing you how to stick within here. And when you're trying to remember the principles of it, it's always really useful to remember these peaks and troughs, and for you to remind yourself, why you're eating the way you're eating, is to try to avoid these peaks and troughs. And also, how you feel. You feel a bit, you're buzzing with energy for maybe half an hour, and then you come down, and then you'll feel absolutely terrible. And that's not a great way to feel either. So yes, it's for us, it's all about blood sugar balancing, and we are going to go into more detail in a minute. Just want to show you quickly there's loads and loads of studies that show that both humans and mice, when they are fed a blood sugar balancing diet, there's lots of health benefits. So this one, for example, mice that were fed a blood sugar balancing diet, so this is what we call the low GL diet, had half the body fat and more lean body mass compared to the ones fed the high sugar diet. Another one is that it makes you feel less hungry. So people who eat a blood sugar balancing diet, they just don't feel the same hunger. Then interestingly, like we've got here, low fat, low calorie, because the body there is being deprived. Blood sugar balancing doesn't do that. It balances the body. So I'm going to hand over to Sylwia now, and she's going to explain a little bit about the perfect plate.
Yeah, so as Giulietta said, the balance your blood sugar levels, the really the foundation. And I see it in many clients that we sometimes just balance the blood sugar levels and everything that come back to normal. So sometimes it's simple as that, just make those changes. So to balance your blood sugar level, the easiest way is to have protein, fiber, and good fats in your meals, every meal. So those three will really help to slow the release of energy from foods and slow release of sugars into your bloodstream. So that will really help to keep your blood sugar level nicely balanced within those lines. horizontal lines that you've seen. So as you can see, this is really lovely infographics. I love it. It's very visual, made by British Association of Nutritional Therapists. And you can see the quarter of your plate should be the protein. So when we think about protein, we think about fish, meat, eggs, seeds and nuts, lentils, beans, chickpeas. Quinoa also is a nice complex protein that fantastic to add to your diet. Then you can see half of your plate should be vegetables, half of it. And it's so crucial because vegetables provide you with the fiber, and fiber is really important for good digestive system. It helps to remove all the waste products from your body. And also the colors of the vegetables will provide you with different nutrients, so minerals, vitamins, phytochemicals, antioxidants, things that we can only find in the vegetables. So we can't really replace them with anything else. Vegetables are the key on your plate. Then you can see the second quarter, so the third quarter, fourth quarter is the root vegetables and whole grains. So what we try to recommend always is to replace the simple carbohydrates in form of everything that is made with white flour. So pastries, bread, white pasta, white potatoes, and simple sugars, so table sugar and everything that has a high content of sugar. And we recommend to replace it with complex carbohydrates, like root vegetables, for example, or grains such as millet, quinoa, buckwheat. So that's basically how your plate should look like. In addition to it, we always recommend to add good fats. And for cooking, we recommend coconut oil. These days, you can get coconut oil without the flavor. Also, olive oil, ghee, butter, avocado oil, and for salads, extra virgin olive oil, also hemp seeds oil or flax seeds oils. So oils will help with the digestive system. Also, like Giulietta said, your brain mostly is made from oils. Our cells membranes are made with oil. So very, very important addition to our diet. We were brainwashed in the past, I think. So everyone is so scared of having a little bit of fat on the plate. So definitely going towards the healthy fats is a good way for improving your health. The bad fats that we want to stay away are the vegetable oils, but pro-inflammatory because they contain high levels of omega-6. And unfortunately, the ratio is all messed up with all those processed foods that we have coming in compared to omega-3. So we try to replace the vegetable oils, trans fats as well, with lovely health promoting oils that I mentioned. Also, we need to remember that we need to have a little bit of fruits. Fruits are very important for the antioxidant content. Antioxidants are helping our bodies to remove and inactivate free radicals. Free radicals are made by our bodies through all the regular processes, but also we exposed to so much chemicals, pollution, and so on outside, which affect and increase the free radicals in our bodies. And free radicals damage the tissue, so causing aging processes, for example, but also has a very negative effect on our bodies. So we want to have lots of antioxidants to protect us from the damaging effect of free radicals. And fruits are packed with it. So powerhouses of antioxidants. We recommend to have about 2 portions of fruits a day. Mostly the darker the colors, the better. That we have more antioxidants in them. So as simple as that, just when you think about what I'm going to have, think about protein. So what protein you're going to have, and then you can build vegetables around it. That's very, very simple thing to remember, and that will help you to balance your plate. So now I'm going to show you a few ideas. So for example, for breakfast, Easy overnight soaked porridge. I like to soak it overnight. First thing, it will just help your body to digest the oats, but also they become almost instant. So you can very quickly just heat them up, or you can eat them even cold. Add two tablespoons of mixed seeds and nuts. They're going to be the protein. And add a few berries. So again, as you can see, not really, you can't see vegetables, but the oats are going to be your fiber, seeds and nuts, protein, and good fats. And then you can add berries for antioxidants. The second idea is 100% rye toast with avocado and eggs. So you can see protein, the eggs, avocado, you have the fiber, good fat, and rye toast. I'm a big fan. I prefer, I would say, rye toast because it's much more nutrient dense, especially if you buy your bread, rye bread in artisan bakery, for example, or any farmer's market. Sometimes you can get a really nice, dense, heavy German style bread that will have much more protein in it and just much more nutrients comparing to wheat bread. And now let's have a look at lunch ideas. Salad, staple for most of us, salad, and then always remember to add the protein. So you have beans, eggs, fish, chicken. Sometimes you can even add some nuts or seeds to your salads. And add something more to it. So not just leaves, but I would think about adding denser vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, some carrots. Just make it more dense. Wraps with vegetables. I love wraps. Really help to reduce the simple carbohydrates. So instead of having a fluffy bread, have a wrap. I just recently bought a sweet potato wrap, really delicious. And you can just wrap whatever you have in a house, chicken, eggs, fish, beans even, top it up with vegetables, and you can have a really nice meal. And let's go to dinner. Dinner can be very, very easy. I think sometimes overcomplicated and think that healthy cooking has to be very time consuming and difficult. Doesn't have to be. It's just you need to get a few ideas that will help you, and we're going to provide you with those ideas because you're going to get 55 pages of delicious meals and recipes. So here you have, for example, one of my favorite dinners, because you just packed everything on a tray, baking tray, 25 minutes in the oven, and you have a really nicely balanced meal. So you can see you have lots of colorful vegetables, and a quarter of the plate going to be protein in form of the wild salmon. Salmon is fantastic because also provides omega-3 fatty acids, crucial for health. So try to incorporate it in your meals as well. Lots of fatty fish. And then you have a little bit of sweet potato as a complex carb. And the last one you have, especially for vegan and vegetarians, great idea. Bean chili. I cook chili always with lots of green vegetables. You can chop and add whatever you have in the fridge, but remember to add lots of green vegetables, and you can have it with a baked sweet potato. And then we have snack ideas, hummus with vegetables and oat cakes. Again, you can see hummus are going to be a protein and vegetables. You can chop whatever you have, take it to work with you. And oat cakes, great as well, addition to hummus. You can take them with you these days, nicely packed individual packages. And the last not least, apple with almond butter, or just old-fashioned fruits and nuts. That would be a fabulous snack that is nicely balanced as well. Yes, and then Giulietta will tell you about sleep, because it's not only food. I think it's other things that are very important to add to your lifestyle or changing your lifestyle that will promote well-being and health.
Absolutely, yes. It's a whole picture.
Exactly.
Sleep is one of the ones actually, um, that is key to health, energy, and weight loss, but we often overlook it. So quite often, people are eating well and they're exercising, and they're just not feeling great. They still
Mm.
don't have a lot of energy, or they're struggling to maintain their weight. And quite a lot of the time, it is actually sleep that's involved. So I just want to talk you through the reasons why sleep is so important. So the first one is it affects insulin, the hormone that we talked about earlier. And as we know, insulin affects the way you store fat. Insulin encourages fat storage. And when you don't sleep enough, your insulin spikes a lot more and you release a lot more. And we really, really, really don't want that. It also affects these other two hormones called leptin and ghrelin. These control our hunger. So ideally, you want to have high leptin and low ghrelin. And when you have that, you're feeling full. You're not craving. One of those days when you're just feeling great and you're really in control of what you're eating, and you just don't really want any sort of sweet things. Um, Unfortunately, lack of sleep flips that over, and you end up with low leptin and high ghrelin, which makes you really, really hungry. It also raises cortisol, which is a fat storing hormone. And we're going to talk about cortisol a bit more in a while when we look at stress. But yeah, it's another hormone that is raised and is pushing the body to store fat. Interestingly, it also affects a certain area of the brain called the frontal lobe, and this actually controls our decision making. So when the frontal lobe is tired, you find it difficult to make decisions, and you might think, oh well, it's not difficult to decide what I'm going to eat, but actually the brain is exposed to so many different decisions every day that when this part of the brain is tired, say you walk into a supermarket and you're faced with maybe like the fruit and veg here, and then you've got takeaways, and then maybe you've got like the chicken counter at the back and the crisps. That for your brain when it's tired is a complete decision making nightmare, and it can make it harder to make healthy food choices. It also raises activity in another area of the brain called the amygdala. Now, the amygdala is the reward center of the brain. This is the bit of the brain that lights up, for example, when we have alcohol, when we take drugs, when we eat sugar. This is like the pleasure center. And interestingly reward, so it makes you want it more and more and more. So you've got this inability, it's hard to make a healthy food choice, and on top of that, your amygdala is screaming for sugar, fat, anything that's going to sort of cheer it up. So as you can see, this is a whole, like, a lot of stuff is going on that's going to lead you, or it's going to be more difficult to make healthy food choices, and your cravings are going to increase. um, so what can we do about it? We can do like aim for 7 to 9 hours a night. Most people's sort of happy sleep spot is somewhere within there. I think I've read in places that, ideally you should be going to sleep and waking roughly the same time every day, regardless of whether it's a weekend or weekdays. And also, really, you should be trying to wake up before your alarm goes off. If you wake up naturally, then that's probably a sign that your sleep is over for the day, for the night rather. Switching off screens an hour before you go to bed. Really, really important. The blue light that comes out of our screens really interferes with the production of a hormone called melatonin. Melatonin is our sleep hormone, and it's very sensitive to light. So really be strict about this. Another way you can approach it is make sure your room is dark, because if there's light coming in from the outside, and actually, if you live somewhere like London where there's street lights everywhere, our rooms tend to be quite bright. So maybe even think about using an eye cover if necessary. Building in a bedtime ritual, so letting your body know it's time for bed. What's happening nowadays is we're working all day, we're stressed, we're on our phones, we come home, we might watch some TV whilst eating, or we might like watch something on our iPads or computers, some Netflix, and there's no signal that it's time to unwind and relax. So really be quite strict with yourself about creating that time, to let your body know it's time for bed, so that hormones, the melatonin can start flowing, the cortisol can start going down. So things like that, having a bath, or maybe reading a book, or even just relaxing, but proper, doing nothing, relaxing, not watching something or scrolling through Instagram or Facebook. That's not really proper relaxing. Um, Maybe doing a bit of mindfulness, finding an app that you like and doing 5 or 10 minutes, using essential oils like lavender, or any of the other calming ones like chamomile, that they can be great as well. And another thing is if you're having real problems relaxing or switching off, taking a magnesium supplement or an Epsom salt bath, because they are very rich in magnesium as well. Magnesium is a great relaxant, and it might just be the trigger you need to help getting your body to relax. Okay, so now we're going to look at the role of stress, and sleep and stress kind of go sort of in
Mm.
together, really, don't they? But I'm just going to explain to you why stress can also be impacting your health, your energy, possibly your attempts at losing weight. So the first thing is it raises cortisol, the hormone we talked about already. Cortisol is a stress hormone. It's our long-term stress hormone. And what it does is it encourages the storage of fat, especially around our tummies and our guts, which is great news. And it also suppresses the immune system, so it can lead to us getting ill quite often. So you might be asking yourself, what on earth is this hormone about? Why is it doing all this? So basically, if you think about us being cavemen, and we talked earlier about how we haven't really changed genetically since those days. When we were in caves, cortisol was there to help us survive when we were possibly hiding from a threat. They always talk about the saber-toothed tiger or something like that. So if you are hiding somewhere and you may not get out for potentially 3-4 days, even a week, you've got to store fat. It's a protective mechanism. You can't afford to get ill, so it suppresses your immune system. Fantastic for that week, great. And then the tiger goes away and you're fine again, and no problem. But the problem is for us, we are constantly exposing ourselves to different types of stress. So this, cortisol in most people is raised most of the time. So bad news for us, unfortunately. It also raises inflammation. And inflammation has been linked to things like high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, and actually even cancer is now thought to have links with chronic inflammation. It affects our sleep. So, like we said, we've got this sort of two-way thing going on where stress and sleep really are intimately linked. It also affects our hormone balance. So when we're highly stressed, our reproductive, our sex hormones like estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, they get out of balance as well. They can be either too high or too low. And also thyroid hormones, which are the ones that control our energy, our metabolism, they tend to suffer as well. So you can see we've got all this hormone imbalance, and all these hormones are very powerful drivers of how we feel. And the last one as well is it can impact digestion. So being stressed stops you digesting properly. So you're not getting your nutrients. So you probably won't have the energy you'd like to have because actually you didn't absorb any of those nutrients. So even if you had a nice meal, say you go back to the plate that Sylwia was talking about, and you did have loads of vegetables and everything else, it might be that you didn't absorb half of the vitamins there. So you still feel really tired. So yeah, really, really good to be mindful of stress. A little bit of stress is great, but not when it's taking over. So what can we do? Building in stress busting activities. So things like walking, yoga, mindfulness, even if you just walk a couple of stops extra, get off at a bus stop earlier, that kind of thing, absolutely fantastic for you. Being mindful, again, this has come up already, of your screen time. This time it's more to do with the mental health aspect of it. So, for example, being on social media, it's been shown that it's leading to lots of anxiety, lots of depression. All that will cause the release of stress hormones as well. So, maybe think about who you're following on social media. Are they making you feel rubbish about yourselves? Is it stressing you out that you don't have the lifestyle somebody else does? Be really, really mindful of that. Another thing about our phones is think about your notifications. There's been research to show that every time your phone pings, it can raise your cortisol. Um, and we really, really, really don't want that, because you might be stressed and thinking, oh God, who's that? Who's that? Also eat to support stress hormone production. So happily, protein and good fats make the building blocks for all our hormones, most of our hormones anyway. And you're doing that anyway by balancing your blood sugar. So yet another reason to be really mindful about your protein and fat intake. Reducing caffeine and alcohol, both of these send your cortisol through the roof, your blood sugar, everything else. Spending time outdoors is really therapeutic, especially if you can get to see some blue sky, which doesn't happen and is definitely not happening today. And another final one, this is especially brilliant for women, is meeting a friend for a chat. Just meeting someone, talking about things, having a laugh, really, really good, and has been shown in women to really lower those stress hormones. In fact, it's believed to be one of the ways which women cave women used to deal with stress the best, which was just bonding with other women. So yeah, give your friend a call and arrange to meet them. So I'm going to hand over to Sylwia now, and she's going to run through the basic principles and rules of blood sugar balancing. So if you've got these in your head, you're pretty much sorted.
Yes, so as you can see, sometimes the small changes can make a huge impact. So on balancing your blood, balancing your meals, having a good night's sleep, and managing the stress will go long way. So let's talk about the rules, what we need to do. So number one, eat regular meals. Very important, because if you skip, for example, breakfast, you're jumping on the roller coaster that Giulietta was showing you. So you're going to have a very low blood sugar level, and then you will grab something on the go very quickly, very sweet, caffeine, and so on. So that will take you on this roller coaster of highs and downs. So try to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then have snacks in between. So especially if you start this journey, I would definitely have snack mid-morning and mid-afternoon, and then after 2 weeks, when you feel stronger, when you feel like your energy is nicely balanced and you want to lose some weight, then I will take the snacks out. But start with snacking to help your body balance the blood sugar level. Number two, very important, eat protein with each meal. So as I show you on the infographic, protein should be about a quarter of your plate. And remember, always think first, what protein I'm going to have, and then build the vegetables around. Aim for half of your plate to be vegetables. Yes, exactly. So we were in the past told that we need about 5 portions of vegetables a day. Today, we know we need to have 7 to 10 portions of vegetables a day for optimal health. We're talking about optimal health, trying to protect your body from cancer, debilitating degenerative diseases, and so on. So having half of your plate vegetables with each meal or snacks will help you to have this 10 portions a day. So you should be sorted. You don't have to think about that too much. Number 4, choose the right type and quantity of carbs. So as I mentioned, try to replace the simple carbohydrate, so everything that is white, that is made with processed white flour, like pastries, cakes, biscuits, but also white bread and pasta, white potatoes. Replace that with complex carbohydrate to support your body to balance the blood sugar levels. Again, root vegetables, also things made from quinoa, buckwheat, millet. 5, eat good fats. Yes, we love good fats. Definitely. Try not to be afraid of fats. Don't go for a free fat aisle if you don't have to, right? Try to stay away, have everything with full fat, enjoy it, and it will definitely help to stabilize your blood sugar level. And go for avocado, seeds and nuts, fatty fish like salmon, trout, mackerel, and so on, and enjoy it. Don't be afraid of it. Number 6, minimize refined food and sugar. That's an obvious one, right? We try to get rid of all processed foods loaded with sugar. Replace it with healthy snacks. So we gave you a few ideas, and you're going to find more in a booklet that we're going to send you. Drink 8 glasses of water. Yes, water, along with a nicely balanced plate, good sleep, and stress, very important. 70% we are made from water, so we need water for every process in the body. Very simple, dehydration can show as tiredness, for example, or headaches. So if you're tired, just think how much water I've drunk. Just simple change like that make huge impact. So make sure you have minimum 8 glasses. Herbal teas will count for the intake. And remember that caffeinated drinks, so coffee, black tea, or any sodas, will actually dehydrate you. So Don't rely on those to hydrate your body. Drink water. Number 8, remove any intolerances if present. So very often, probably Giulietta will agree that in our clinics we see people um, who shows symptoms of intolerances, especially I'm thinking about gluten or dairy. That can be checked very easily with tests. However, if you don't want to spend some money, you can easily do it at home. So just take out those biggest offenders, wheat and dairy, see how you feel for a few weeks, and then bring them back one by one. So try the wheat bread and see if you bloated, if you feel tired, if you get a headache, or brain fog. So your body will quickly shows you if you're intolerant to it very quickly. So the easiest way is just take it out of your diet and then bring it back and introduce one by one. Number 9, minimize alcohol and caffeine. Alcohol and caffeine are stimulants, like Giulietta said, so they do affect your cortisol levels, and they do affect also your detoxification ability, because the liver will start detoxifying alcohol and caffeine, and then may not have capacity of detox other toxins and, for example, bad hormones that need to go out of the body. So alcohol and caffeine will impact your hormonal balance as well. So definitely I would try to reduce and replace perhaps with something better, like maybe herbal teas, green tea, matcha tea, or so on. And number 10, yeah, have a good sleep. Try to go to sleep a little bit earlier, reduce the screens, try to some mindfulness exercises, nice Epsom salt bath, a little bit of lavender oil to really relax, reduce the cortisol, and have a nice sleep to balance your hormones and have, you know, better control of your cravings as well. Yes, and we would like to ask a big question. I think this webinar is about this question: how would you like to feel? I think most of us, and I read somewhere that we spend more time to plan and to think about holidays than plan our well-being and think about how we would like to be, how we like to feel. And I think it's a little bit of problem there, isn't it? That we focus on everything rather ourselves, and we kind of assume that we will be always healthy and we don't have to do much. It's given. Actually, you know, it shows that we actively need to work on our health and well-being like everything else. So we would like to ask you, take a minute and think about that. You know, where would you like to be in a year? How would you like to feel? How would you like to look as well? Because nutrition, as we said before, impacts your entire body. So learning about a healthy lifestyle is one thing, but actually doing it is another. So what do you really want to achieve when it comes to health, well-being, and your body image? What has prevented you from achieving in the past? So we probably all of us been on kind of a healthy journey. You started a diet, you started a new way of eating, you follow someone famous that eating specific way and have a great result. But how long did it last? You know, was it 2 weeks or was it a few days, and you went back to those bad habits that you wanted to get rid of? So that's a very, very important question, and it's very good to know, find out the answer, because that will help you to stay on a new journey, on a new path, and really keep going and keep improving. And what can move you from saying you are going to do something to actually doing it? So those are very, very important questions. I think we would like to give you opportunity to think about that, answer those questions, because that will help you achieve what you really want. So today, let's say make a plan, action plan. So definitely starting with a simple thing as thinking about what would you like to achieve this week, right? So you can pick 3 easy things. Improve, for example, water intake. So have 8 glasses of water. have a protein with each meal, and then perhaps go to sleep at 10 o'clock, go to bed to 10 o'clock, simple things. But that will really help you to start the journey, right? So that will help you 100%. That will improve your energy levels. When you have more energy, then you will be able to tackle other things, go deeper, and do more things for yourself. So definitely simple goals will take you a long way. And what actions will you take? This, yeah, so that's what I mentioned. What action you would take this week based on what we've covered, if there is anything that might get in your way. So planning again, set your goals and then make sure that you have everything ready. So if I have a cravings, we all do, what are you going to have available? So you need to plan how to overcome those things that lead you to take the bad decisions. And the last one, how could you overcome any barriers? So think about those things. Things in a kind of imagine the situations, and then try to find out the ways how you're going to overcome it. Going, for example, in a party and you don't want to drink too much alcohol, think earlier, what can you do, right? To actually not having as much to then feeling horrible next day. So for example, having a glass of water in between each drinks. So find out the ideas, think ahead of the situation to help you to make a good decision. And we would like to take you on a next level. So we've spoken about foundation. If you would like to go deeper, if you need a little bit of more support and being in a beautiful environment to create a vision for yourself, we would like to invite you for a women's wellness retreat. We create this sanctuary, a beautiful place for women to come and start the wellness journey, being able to relax, rebalance, connect with themselves, and start thinking about what I really want for myself and my health and my well-being. So yes, we created a wellness retreat in Ibiza. It's going to take place from 16th to 23rd of June this year. And we're all going to reconnect with ourselves, restore our energies, vitality, and fall back in love with yourself again and your life. So you will be able to have time to concentrate only on yourself. So what we were trying to do, we're trying to take you from, very busy, very demanding life, and we'll put you in a beautiful environment when you will be finally able to concentrate on yourself and learn about yourself as well. So we're going to offer you one-to-one consultation with us, where you will be able to discuss your health challenges, something that you would like to improve. It could be as simple as the energy level, any hormonal imbalances or digestive system, whatever it is. We will be able to discuss that and give you some ways to resolve it. And then we're going to be able to find out what drives you and motivates you to make those changes, and also what's stopping you from achieving what you really, really want. And I love this. We will work with the limiting beliefs that hold you back. So limiting beliefs is something that is imprinted on you. Sometimes we even don't know we have them. We just kind of like live on an autopilot, driven by those beliefs that are there from your childhood, from your parents, from institutions like schools, your friends, things that you believe in and not necessarily has to be yours. So we will work with it and see what stops you to achieve what you really want. So what holds our beliefs and what beliefs needs to be changed? What beliefs are no longer true or relevant for you, but still kind of stop you or limiting you from being who you really want to be. And we will create the wellness vision for you. step-by-step plan that will ensure your success. So we will speak about wellness and health on the retreat, but we will make sure that you will keep going after you leave the retreat. So we will provide you with a 10-week follow-up vitality program, again with lots of ideas, recipes, guidelines, and so on, so you can stay on track, implement the new habits, and really change how you feel and how you are. So we're going to relax, unwind, do yoga, meditation, dancing. We're going to have a spirit dancing, which is a form of meditation in dance. Beautiful. We're going to have a fantastic food, organic, local, cooked by a chef. And you will meet like-minded women. So we will spend lots of time in a circle, supporting each other, and have a fun. Lots of fun. And what you will be able to get rid of bad habits, confusion about what you need to do to be healthy, and never diet again. Never think about what you need to eat to be well. Limiting beliefs, big one. I told you about that. I think when you take those beliefs out of your system, things start changing almost immediately. And then negative self-talk. We don't even realize, how we constantly listen to this chit chat, and it's, we would like to replace it with loving, supporting, encouraging self-talk. So that's what we're going to do.
So I'd like very quickly just to sort of show you a few pictures of the actual place where we're holding the retreat, in the beautiful villa up in the the recent countryside. Really lovely place. I mean, look at this. Hopefully we'll be eating all our meals outdoors, a beautiful pool to relax by, lovely bedrooms, really just comfortable, luxurious. We also want to say that all the beds can be separated, so you can come with friends, or if you're feeling brave, share with somebody you don't know, and make a friend, maybe a friend for life, you never know. This is like the outdoor space where hopefully we'll be having in the morning yoga and meditation sessions. And this is one of the classic Ibiza views over this place called Esvedra. And the reason we chose Ibiza is because it has a very strong link with female power and feminine energy. So it's always been linked to the Phoenician goddess Tanit, and there's references to her all over the island, and you really can feel this powerful feminine energy. So for us, it was like, a no-brainer. We were like, yeah, it's got to be Ibiza because of this wonderful energy. And if you haven't been, this is a great chance to experience this beautiful island. And these are just some quotes from some of the ladies who joined us last year. Some are coming again this year, which is fantastic. This picture I absolutely love. When it's raining and cold and miserable, I always just look at this and go, I will be there in June, which always makes me very excited and cheers me up. So these are some pictures of the retreat last year, some of the lovely ladies who came along. And this is what you'll get. So basically 7 nights in a luxurious villa. And this is what everything is actually worth. So then you'll also be having, like we said, nutritional consultation. There's going to be coaching and wellness workshops daily, the yoga meditation classes, and the Shakti dance. So that would usually come to a total of £2,089. Our prices are starting from £997 because the more people we have, the better discount we can offer. And actually, that doesn't sort of end there. Anybody who has attended this webinar or who is watching it afterwards, we are offering you a £150 discount. So actually, prices are starting from £847. We now actually don't have that many places left, and we are just passionate about getting as many women, that we can fill the villa up with, to come along and join us on this journey. So, if you're interested, please get in touch. You've already got our email address, and I will also be showing you This is a number you can text. That's Sylwia's number. That's my email. So please, please, please get in touch. If you're interested, we can have a chat on the phone. We can give you more details. We can give you more information, and you can work out whether this is the right retreat for you or not. But we are just super, super excited to be doing this, and we would love to have you there and share this, you know, amazing journey with us, basically. And also check your inboxes. We already sent this out, but if anybody hasn't received it, anybody who watches this, you can get our 55-page ebook, which has loads of great recipes, all blood sugar balancing, guidelines, etc. So a really good thing to accompany what we've been talking about today. And yeah, I think that's it. We've got to the end. Thank you so much for joining us on this webinar. We've both really, really enjoyed ourselves. And, you know, we hope you are leaving inspired with a vision, or at least with a clear idea of what your next steps are. You know, what little things you can do to start feeling better and start that health journey today. So thank you from me. And I think Sylwia just wants to quickly.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming to our webinar. Great to have you. And yeah, same as Giulietta, you know, we would like to empower women and just give them the control of health back, really, because you do have a control, and you can change how you feel. You change how you want to be. So think that way, ladies, and go and do things that makes you feel better, so you can enjoy your life. And it'd be fantastic to have you in a retreat. We're looking forward to it. We had a fantastic time last year, and we're going to have for sure this year as well. So join us, contact us, either email or text, or whatever way you choose to speak to us, and we will tell you more information.
Thank you.
Thank you.